Welcome to the cast on visualization and data exploration. The content is presented by Jitendra Tomar, a corporate consultant, and is designed at JT Design Studio. Let us delve deep into the content.
Let's be real for a second. Raw data? It's kind of a mess. It's just a wall of numbers and text that, at a glance, doesn't tell you a thing. But data visualization? Well, that's our universal translator. It's the key that unlocks the incredible stories that are hiding inside all that noise.
I mean, we are absolutely swimming in information these days, right? But information isn't the same as insight. So how do we close that gap? How do we turn these giant spreadsheets into a clear story that we can actually use to make smarter decisions? Well, that's the big question we're going to tackle right now. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the fundamental why, the real purpose behind data viz. Then we'll pop open the essential toolkit of charts you see everywhere. After that, we'll get into some advanced techniques and the software that makes them tick, see how it all plays out in the real world, and then we'll wrap it all up with 5 simple rules to make your own visuals pop. Okay, let's start at square one. Section 1. Why do we even bother visualizing data in the first place? What's the fundamental, game-changing reason for turning all those numbers into pictures? You know, at its heart, data visualization is really a process. It's not just about making pretty charts for presentation. It's a systematic way of actually seeing the patterns, the trends, and all those important relationships that are buried in your data. For instance, a simple line chart can show you in a second how your sales grew month over month, but a more complex heat map? That can show you the hidden connections between totally different marketing campaigns. The goal is always to communicate those insights with total clarity. In this whole process, it really comes down to 3 main goals. First, it lets you be a data detective. You get to use visuals to hunt for patterns, spot the weird anomalies, and find those outliers that just don't belong. Second, it's about making massive amounts of data manageable, boiling it down into something you can understand in a few seconds. And finally, and this is the most important part, it's about helping us make smarter, faster decisions by giving us clear, visual insight. All right, so now that we know why we're doing this, let's get into the how. In this section, we're going to cover the essential toolkit, starting with some basic methods and then diving into the workhorse charts that really form the foundation of data storytelling.
Before you can even pick a chart, you got to know what kind of question you're asking. You might start simple, just looking at one thing at a time. Or you could explore the relationship between 2 different things. And for those really deep, juicy questions, you can see how multiple things all influence each other at the same time. Now for the tools themselves. First up, the undisputed king of charts, the bar chart. These things are absolutely perfect for comparing different categories. Think sales figures across a few different products or maybe website traffic from different countries. They're simple, they're powerful, and they are instantly clear.
Okay, so from comparing categories, let's talk about tracking change. If you want to see a trend over time, the line chart is your best friend. It literally connects the dots and tells a story of growth or decline. For example, a line chart might show that your website traffic has been climbing steadily, but then bam, it took a sharp dip last month. See? That's not just a data point. That's a clue that tells you to go figure out what happened.
But what about relationships between 2 totally different things? That's where scatter plots just shine. They're brilliant for showing the connection between 2 numerical variables. Like, does a person's height have anything to do with their weight? A scatter plot shows you that pattern in an instant. It's kind of like connect the dots for data, and it can reveal correlations you'd never have guessed.
And if you need to understand the shape or the spread of your data, you're going to want a histogram. It shows you how often different values show up by grouping them into little bins. This is fantastic for seeing the distribution of something like student test scores in a classroom. It's basically a bar chart, but for a continuous set of numbers.
And finally, in our essential toolkit, we've got the incredibly efficient box plot. What's so amazing about this one is how much information gets packed into such a simple little shape. A box plot gives you a super quick summary of your data spread, the middle value, the range, and it's amazing for spotting outliers. It's like a cheat sheet for your data.
All right, with the fundamentals locked in, it's time to level up. In this section, we're going way beyond the basics to explore some advanced techniques and the powerful tools that bring them to life. This is where data visualization gets really cool.
So beyond those basic charts, we have some incredible techniques. Heat maps use color to show the strength of relationships between tons of variables at once. For example, a heat map could show you that your sales are always highest in the summer and lowest in the winter.
Tree maps are perfect for visualizing data that has a hierarchy, like seeing how different product categories add up to your total sales. Geospatial maps, well, they bring location data to life. And network graphs, they are amazing for untangling complex webs of connections like you'd see in a social network.
So how do we actually make all these things? This slide lays out the modern toolkit. For the coders out there who want total control, you've got Python libraries like Matplotlib and Seaborn. For statisticians, the R language has the incredible ggplot2. And for business users, there are these powerful BI tools like Tableau and Power BI that let you build interactive dashboards with a simple drag and drop. It's like having a data visualization expert on call.
Now for my favorite part. Let's see how all these ideas and tools actually come together to solve real-world problems. This is where the theory gets real, and data visualization truly comes to life.
In the high-stakes world of finance, visualization is absolutely crucial. Sure, analysts use complex charts to visualize market risk and track investments, but they also use them to fight crime. For instance, a network graph could instantly reveal how a whole web of seemingly separate, fraudulent transactions are all secretly connected back to one person. And it's not just about money. Visualization plays a huge part in tackling big global challenges. Scientists use these incredible interactive dashboards to track carbon emissions and understand climate change. Just imagine a map that doesn't just show you a static picture, but actually lets you see where deforestation is happening in real time and explore how it's changed over the years. Now that's powerful. And of course, it's in all the businesses we deal with every day. E-commerce companies use visualizations constantly to understand their customers. A simple bar chart could show which products are most popular with different age groups, while a scatterplot could show how a specific marketing campaign is directly lifting sales.
So, we've seen the power of visualization in action. For our last section, let's talk about the rules for making our own visuals truly effective. These are the best practices that separate a confusing chart from a clear and powerful one.
Look, the most important thing to remember here is that great visualization isn't magic. It's just discipline. First, always choose the right chart for the job. A line chart is terrible for comparing categories. Second, keep it simple. Your goal is to reveal an insight, not to show off every single piece of data you have. So get rid of the clutter. Third, use color with a purpose. Don't just make it pretty, use color to highlight what's important. Fourth, label everything clearly. Your axes, legends, and titles are like road signs. Without them, your audience is totally lost. And finally, when it makes sense, add interactive stuff, like filters, to let your audience explore the data for themselves.
And that brings us to the end. The data really is everywhere, in our jobs, in our hobbies, all over the world. The challenge today isn't about having data, it's about having the skill to make that data speak. So I'll leave you with this. What important story will you choose to visualize? You've got the map to get started. Now go out there and start telling your own data stories.